Hi, I'm Andrew, and I'm going to be doing my PowerPoint on the issues and challenges in Taiwan. So these are two maps of Taiwan, and this is Taiwan right here, this little island off the coast of China. As you can tell, in comparison to China, it is significantly smaller. This is just the actual political map of Taiwan, and you can tell right here is the capital, which is Taipei City. And it's located in the continent of Asia. It covers 32,260 square kilometers of land and 3,720 kilometers of water, making it the 140th largest nation in the world with a total area of 35,980 kilometers. Brief history on it is that Taiwan was first discovered by the Europeans in 1544 by the Portuguese, who originally called the island Formosa, which translates to beautiful island, which makes sense because it is a very beautiful island. In 1624, the Dutch made the island a colony and they established numerous amount of settlements there. In 1683, the Chinese defeated the Dutch and would eventually become part of the Chinese Empire. And after a huge war between China and Japan eventually gained control of the island in 1895. But however, there was a war between two parties who were the communists and the government. And when the communists won, the refugees fled and created the People's Republic of China in 1949. The language of Taiwan is Mandarin Chinese, and this changed in the 1940s. And what this is it's not the same language of China, but it's just a different variation of the language. Brief facts: the population is about 24.1 million people, which is very, very overpopulated for such a small island. And they have a multiple democracy type of government, meaning that they have presidents of each state. So every little state has their own president. And their the GDP capita is 35,700, and it has the largest military establishment. The food they eat is, they usually eat rice, tofu, seafood, and stir fry. On breaks and just talking socially with friends, they always have tea. Their food was mixed with a Taiwan culture and a Chinese culture. The Taiwan culture was like the people who were there originally, and the Chinese culture were the people who fled from China. The culture is basically the same thing as the food. They're both mixed in from original Taiwan cultures and the Chinese cultures. And as you can tell, this is very similar to what happens in traditions in China and Japan. You probably recognize that face at the bottom. Okay, so the religion. Religion is not a huge role in Taiwan. As you can tell, 48.3% are non-religious at all. And besides that, it's pretty competitive. 23.8% of Taiwanese people are Buddhist, 19.7% believe in Taoism, and just a little portion believes in Roman Catholic, Protestant, and other religions. But as you can tell, it's not doesn't have a big effect in Taiwan. So here are my actual issues in Taiwan. First is waste production. Taiwan has a huge waste production issue, and they've had it for decades. And once they were going through a period of rapid industrialization, it hurt their environment in dramatic ways. Since the growth of manufacturing, waste production has gone up drastically, which led to effects such as polluted soil, water bodies, and the atmosphere was going bad. The population of Taiwan affects this issue because more people equals more waste. They're so overpopulated that it's just not enough space for this garbage. And this is the problems with their solution, because the first set of solutions weren't effective at all. The first idea was that they should burn the waste. And they found out that burning the waste, it happens everywhere. It happens in the United States, happens everywhere. But they just had so much waste that they burned that it was just killing the air. And the government came up with an idea to put all the garbage near the Eastern Sea, which was working for a good period of time, but they were just throwing it next to like the beaches and stuff. And they had like specific areas for it, like guarded, gated and everything, but after time and time and time, day on day on day, it just, the soil was just getting horrible and it was just slowly washing away, which was running all the trash into the Pacific Ocean. And I have a little video on it. As you can tell, like, this is a lot of garbage. This isn't anything you see at beaches here or beaches anywhere. But here's a video. And as you can tell, there, not just over here, but everywhere along the coast was where all this garbage was. And most of it didn't actually float down, but most of it was just chilling at the top, like. Okay, and this was their final solutions to the problem, which were very effective. A solution that's proved to be productive and efficient were mining landfills for recyclables, replacing big incinerators with energy solar systems, and projects on finding out how to trace copper back from the waste. So they're actually tracing back copper, which was helping their industries. They were replacing incinerators with energy systems, which they are one of the top countries in the world right now of using energy instead of other sources of power. And they're mining more landfills, which they couldn't do earlier because they didn't have the space, but they designed new places and took down all these forests and stuff, and they were making landfills, basically. All right, this is a decline of the economy. The industries were going downhill because the countries were just turning away from them and not buying their materials, making their business increasingly difficult, which is what usually happens when the decline of the economy is coming. And for example, they were very prominent in the leather industry, and states were turning away from them because they weren't upgrading their material. They just kept it on the same, and other countries were progressing, getting more technologically advanced, and they just weren't being effective, and the government didn't do anything about it. They were just laying like that for years on years on years back in like the 1960s, and they weren't doing anything about it to help them, which is drastically affected their economy. And they don't have many financial products, which means that most of the time they're spending money overseas. And this led to an incredible debt deficit. And they fail to keep their money in their country because they need overseas products to survive, but they don't have enough products that attract consumers from other countries. So like, they're buying more from other countries than they're giving the countries, which is not good when dealing with money. Compared to other countries, in 2013, they have attracted $3.7 billion from, while Singapore attracted 63.7. As you can tell, these two numbers are drastically different. And they used to compare with top countries like us, the United Kingdom, and now they can only compare with bottom tier countries like Pakistan and North Korea. And also, when exporting to other countries, Taiwan is not included in some free trade tariffs and must pay money to ship products that other countries don't have to because they don't have the luxury of being a part of these trade tariffs. And issue 3 is their national identity. They believe that they have been separated from the Republic of China and deserve to become their own independent nation, but it is a very populated land that is just trying to become a nation, but still lacks the recognition of top countries in the world like China. It lacks recognition from China, and China claims that Taiwan is still a province of it, and they just want to reunify with it. They just want to become better with it. And also, they have a huge amount of immigrants, which is another problem because they have immigrants from Japan, the actual people in China, and the people who were originally in Taiwan. And they were all fighting because they don't know what they really were. And issue 4 is prostitution. And honestly, I only picked this one because their solution to this problem was like no other. But so obviously prostitution is when a man pays a woman to have sex with him. The issue was very bad because women were getting pregnant and could not afford care for the child because fathers were just not coming back for their children because most of them were tourists and they would pay money to the lower class women to have sex with them. And so basically these children were being brought into a dangerous environment at a very young age without a father. And this problem happens in Taiwan, but they have an overpopulation issue. So at one point, they were actually on the same terms as China was only having one child, considering there were 24.1 million people. And the solution to this was very, very good. And I know this is a problem that happens all over the world, but they have recently implemented new policies that the patron and the sex patron can both get fines ranging from $1,500 to $30,000, which is unique because most countries implement like small rules, small policies because there's really nothing they can do to stop prostitution. Like it could be over the internet, it could be on the streets. Like most of the time they're not getting caught. So this is me traveling to Taiwan. So I started to travel on July 15th because the month of July is the most free time of the year. It's when you're starting to get tired of summer and you just need a change in your life, you know? And my flight would leave JFK Airport and make a pit stop in San Francisco, and the total cost round trip would be around $1,500. Day 1, I would stay at the Holiday Inn in Taipei, and the cost over the 7 days would be 17,507 Taiwan dollars, which is only about 570 US dollars. I would make my way around the city of Taipei and embrace a different culture by trying different foods and sightseeing just the first day, just getting to know the city, just because I don't want to get lost, I want to know what I'm doing. And that's basically it. This is just a picture of the whole city of Taipei. Day 2, I would start my vacation with trying to learn my best about the history of this country. So I would start my vacation by traveling to the National Taiwan Museum in Taipei, which you can see right here. It's a very, very historical place. It gives all the overview and knowledge from 19th century and the 20th century. And then after that, in Taipei City, I would make my way to eat at the restaurant Raw because it is a top-rated restaurant in Taipei for seafood. And as you can tell, it is very, very unique, luxurious, and it does cost a lot of money, but when you're on vacation, it doesn't matter. You're just trying to make the best of what you have, you know? Okay, then I will make my way to the Tarako National Park, which is very, very big, and is considered the most beautiful site in Taiwan. This is a picture of the waterfall, and this is a picture of like the valley in it, and it's just magnificent viewings. And the park consists of the Taroko Gorge, the Swallow Grotto, the Baiyang Waterfall, the Kingshu Cliffs, Eternal Spring Shrine, tunnels of 9 turns, the Golden Canyon, the Buluang to Hazante Temple. And this park is, like I said, huge. It consists of 144 bird, 30 mammal, 32 reptile, 251 butterfly, and at least 18 different fish species. It consists of so many different pieces and would just be a fantastic experience. You can go through it in your car, you can hike it, you can, you can go on it in a boat actually, because there's actually a river too. The next place I would like to visit would be the Lin Mansion and Garden. And I would visit this place because it is the most relaxing place in this city. But it also reveals the true culture of the whole country. And in these buildings, they don't have many pictures of it, but in these buildings are like magnificent designs. There's tables, there's all these not weird, but just like unique artwork that's in these. And most of these rooms are quiet. They aren't. It isn't open much to the public, but I would try to get there like a good day. It doesn't. It only costs $10 to get in, and so that's just a relaxing day. And I didn't mention food in any other of these slides because if I'm actually on vacation, I'm not gonna go about my vacation on a schedule because I would want to just live it on a fly. Because if you live on a schedule, it's just no fun. Because you can run into stuff that you want to try, and you're not gonna be like, no, like I can't because my schedule doesn't have it. Like that's not gonna happen. And day 5, I would see the temple from Elephant Mountain, as you can see right here, as it's lit up with the city and everything. It's just beautiful. This is one of the tallest skyscrapers in the world. And then I would go all the way up it to just observe the city from the breathtaking view from the top. I would use a taxi to get there because it's not that far from my hotel. And I would just get food and whatever from whatever's in town because that's just how I would go about it. Then I would need to see the historic Papilao Old Street, which is a street dating all the way back from the Qing Dynasty that actually hasn't been touched since the rapid industrialization. So ever since like the 1900s, like these streets haven't been touched. There's pictures of them, but you can't touch them. It's actually a crime if you touch these because it's just such a historical place. You can walk through it, but you can't touch anything. And that's just really cool to me. It's just so much history that goes back into it because the Qing Dynasty is literally like what started this whole country. And day 7, this would be my last day, and I would need to view the Yufin, which is this right here, and it's actually a city that resembles one of the best animes over there, and it has like all these unique, like cool little like designs in them, like as you can tell by the lights. And then right next to it is a Shifan waterfall, which is a waterfall which is known as Taiwan's Niagara Falls. Like it isn't nearly as big as it, but you can just tell that it kind of looks like it. It's just maybe a little wider. But yeah, that's just what they call it. And then I would make my way to the top. I would have to hike a mountain to go to the top. I would have to hike Mount Keelan to see the beautiful city of Yufin with the lights, which there isn't a good picture of it, but the whole city is just lit up this beautiful and it's just a very, very good way to end the trip. And lastly, I would check out of my hotel and hop on the plane back to JFK Airport on July 18th and conclude my journey from Taiwan. And that's it.